Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Greetings of peace to you, my brothers, sisters, ladies, and gentlemen. Thank you for joining the video. This video, straight up, is themed the root cause for all of our problems, right? I want to try and understand what is the root, what is the reason, not even what are the reasons, it's not too many. I feel that the root for all of our problems is just one thing. It's just one thing. I can sum it all up to one thing. And I also want to discuss the solution. Right? What is exactly the solution to this particular issue? So, if I ask you a very simple, very straightforward question, my friend, tell me, what do you think is the reason or the root cause for all the problems in the world? Everything that's going on. If you take, for example, we have problems in our house, we have problems, well, within ourselves, individually, at an individual personal level, we are going through issues. We have problems in our houses, in our families, among our relatives. We have problems, we have issues. We have not been able to, at least in my case, we have not been able to harmonize a beautiful relationship with everyone involved, right? There are always problems. If not, I definitely would like to congratulate you. There are problems in our neighborhood, in the road that we live in. There are problems among neighbors, right? There are problems. There are issues between neighbors. There are issues between friends, colleagues. And then there are issues in towns and cities and villages. And there are bigger problems when it comes to countries. I doubt, because I follow a few news channels, I have my own share of information. I don't think there's a single country that you can name currently that is not currently going through a crisis. You start from Japan to Asia, South Asia, India, Philippines, Indonesia, Pakistan. The PM was just shot. You take countries like Bangladesh, the floods hitting Bangladesh, very severe floods. You take Europe, every European country, the worst being the United Kingdom. You've got a country that at one point thought that they could colonize the entire world, right? A country that was run by kings and queens who thought that what's the tagline? The tagline was, the sun never sets to the empire. That was the tagline, right? That was the idea, that was the vision behind British imperialism. They thought that they would conquer the world, and they would conquer all the countries, that at any point of time, at any given country that they have conquered, there will always be the sun at a risen position. And look where they got with that kind of tagline. Today, I believe the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom is actually someone from one of the very countries that they wanted to colonize, and actually did a lot of harm to. Right? We have Prime Minister Rishi Sunak from India, and if I'm right, even the mayor of London is a Pakistani. Right? It is a Pakistani individual. So, ah, right. So you see, at every point, you have problems. You have problems in America, right? You have problems. America is divided in, it's so bigoted that the division in America is as big as it gets. America has never been this divided in its, and we see Brazil. We see how Lalo won, the previous president has won against Bolsonaro. We see issues in Middle East. We see Halloween being celebrated in the holy city of, or in the holy country, in the central location of Islam, that has Islam, the religion that shunned paganism, is now seeing traces of paganism slowly rising in the very country that paganism was abolished by great effort by the final Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. So, you tell me, if you can tell me a single country that doesn't have issues, that is not affecting you. Either you are probably not on Earth and you're probably on Mars, or or you're very lucky. That is all I can say. So, okay, so we understood that there are problems everywhere, right? I mean, I live in Canada, and Canada has its own problems. Okay, on the one end, Canada is fighting the issue of the damage and the amount of completely. I mean, it is evil. Okay, what the British, what the colonial mindset did to the indigenous people of Canada and America. You know, the people that we call the First Nations, Métis, and Inuit people. When I've been going through, and I've been lucky enough to go through uh, information regarding this. I've been lucky enough to go through what the blacks, right, the African people, had to go through in this country, and I'm just barely learning. And my goodness, the amount of torture, the amount of torment, uh, it's inhuman. In fact, it's inhuman what they had to go through. I mean, I heard that there was one major, one general in the British army who used to wait, who took every opportunity to attack the indigenous communities of Canada whenever all the strong men have gone away, either on something important, sometimes as delegates to talk to the government, that is also being misled, or they've gone out hunting. Whenever they are away, whenever the protectors of the communities are away, this general used to take the army and kill the women and the children and the old people who are left, to completely eradicate the reason, the motive was to eradicate. I mean, they wanted to get rid of the indigenous people, right? And utterly failed at that, because they are too strong. Somehow, when you look at these kind of mentalities, when you look at what's we think, me being from Asia, we think that, oh my god, the developed countries, and these countries barely have 100 200 year recorded what and history of the civilized nation. But these are countries with a bigger history, a longer history than that, with a lot of indigenous communities living their life very peacefully, in their own with their own culture, with a very rich amount of culture, with very rich elements in their cultures, and those have been completely uprooted, completely, right? I heard that there have been deliberate attempts by past Canadian governments back in the 1950s, 60s, which is now called the 1960s coup, or I'm not sure if I'm getting the word right, where they snatched children from indigenous families and sort of brought them conquerors, into the colonial, into the ones who the British household, to rehabilitate. There were rehabilitation centers. I mean, whatever is going on in China now with the Uyghur Muslims, them being rehabilitated in China, mosques being demolished, that already happened in the Americas, in Canada. It already happened 50, 60 years ago. So they're just taking a leaf out of this page. Okay, so I know when I start talking about problems, it's endless, right? This is, I mean, sometimes I wonder about my head, I wonder how I'm surviving. But there is a reason why I'm surviving. But to get to that point, so we established the fact that there are problems. Okay. Now, my question was, what do you think is the root cause to all of our problems? So you can, if you want, you can pause the video and you can think, okay, just to see if it matches with my answer at the very least. Well, okay, I hope you thought the problem, or rather, the root cause, the reason for all of our problems as I perceive it, is what we believe. What we believe. That's the root cause. What we believe. And let me try to explain this. Um, our life, when you think about our life and the way you've lived, Okay, from the moment that you started understanding something, right? You grow, you're a child, so you grow up slowly. And it comes to a point, you hit your age 8, 10, 12. Slowly by 12, 14, 15, you start understanding things. By 14, 15, you are able to make your own decisions, right? And you start realizing how the world works slowly. And it is at that point that our life, we start really realizing that our life is governed in its entirety by what we choose to believe. Okay, if you believe something and you go ahead with that, it might work, it might not, but that is what it governs. What comes first is the belief. Belief comes first. You have to believe. You either believe that you can do it, you either believe this is the way to do something, you either believe that, I have to go to this to get that done, you either believe that you have to talk this way to get something done, or you have to be this person or do that thing or talk to that person. You believe first and then only you do, right? You do based on your belief. So belief is very, very fundamental, right? Today people believe all kinds of things. I mean, you and me, we live in this day and age. We believe that if we migrate, all our problems will vanish. We believe that if we get a good salary, our life is settled. We believe that we are strong, we are healthy, and tomorrow there will be no problem. We keep on believing all these kinds of things. So, for example, right, contextually, how I want to illustrate the fact that believing causes problems is, if you look at most of the developing countries, the developing nations or underdeveloped nations, which I'm from one of those countries termed as underdeveloped. In fact, my country was not underdeveloped at all, right? My country was perhaps the most self-sufficient country in the world, right? My country has everything. It has every climate. It can grow every plant, right? I feel like it is a piece of paradise on earth, right? That is my country, Sri Lanka. It's an island. Not everybody gets a chance to go there. Not everybody gets to experience the beauty there. But now it's not the case. Now the country has, um, very sadly, it has gone through a rough patch in the past 100 years. It all happened after the British, after the conquerors came, right? Everything got messed up, and all these foreign ideologies that do not suit us, ideologies that are foreign to us, ideologies that don't really that don't work in my country, right? Because you can't take a foreign idea and put it in my country and expect it to work, and then you've got conquerors in the middle, then everything goes awry. So when you look at the developed countries, or rather, sorry, developing or underdeveloped countries, most of the time, to the current predicament, the reason is that the masses, or at least a good amount of people, at least 40% of the people, believe in politicians. Okay? Politicians have governed these countries for a very long time, and through their words, and they've kind of taken the mass and they've made them believe what they say. So politicians, the normal story is that they build beautiful stages and they attract so many people, and they kind of bribe underhand. They give various things, a few amounts of few thousands of rupees, maybe some food, a promise that their child will get a placement in the school, or you will get a job once I come into power. So all these lies have been fed continuously. And at the beginning, 2 generations, 3 generations ago, when these politicians came and promised things, they were in a capacity to do it, right? At least half of it. If they promised 100 jobs, they were in a capacity to at least give 50 jobs. So slowly, that was enough for people to believe them. You know, they took a chance. But now it's completely, gone wrong, because you cannot believe. And yet people habitually believe. So politicians keep coming and lying, and our people keep believing those lies. And based on those beliefs, based on what they think they're going to get in the short term, they keep voting, and the country keeps going to a darker place than ever before. This is one particular aspect. You take Putin. right? Vladimir Putin, who started this war with Ukraine. And I have no issues, but I felt when I have no issues, as in I have every issue with war. I have every issue with war, but I'm not here. I'm not a judge. I have no judgment, right? Because that is not my duty. What I'm saying is that when Vladimir Putin started this war, when he started and he was giving these speeches and he was ordering around his majors and generals, and it was very nicely telecasted. It was very clear that he was very confident. He was very confident. It looked on his face. Look, the way he talked, the way he expressed himself, the body language, the way he commanded the room, the way he said that Ukraine has to be annexed to Russia. He believed that he could win. That's what he believed, right? He believed that it was a short game, that he gets started, he attacks within a few months or few weeks. That was his initial game plan. And look how far things have come, right? It's almost 200 plus days, I think, and this war is not even near getting over, unless, by God's grace, something happens. And throughout the entire process, how many families, how many innocent people have died just because someone believed that they could do something. Someone believed in their vision, or their um, someone believed that they were certain about their ability to win. Okay. A good example I can give you similar to this is World War One, America's war with Vietnam. When America went to war with Vietnam, they believed that they could win. They believed it, right? And what happened? They had to go and they had to sacrifice so many men. So many men. Young Americans were sacrificed, and they had to come back lost. They lost the war, lost face, lost reputation in front of the whole world. The Vietnamese army, their guerrilla tactics, the Americans couldn't crack it. No way. This is how belief works. People tend to believe the wrong thing all the time. You know how, well, examples are endless. So, one thing that I see with today, if we relate things to today, what's going on today, what we can understand is that news, news, social media, that's Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, content that is driven by the masses, into the masses, onto the masses, news, media, and governments. These are the driving forces of the channels that create what people believe today. So, you and me, normal people, we tend to either listen to the government of whichever country we are in, the government authorities, maybe at a lower level, higher level. We tend to listen to from the president to the MP to the to the village administrator, anyone who comes and says things, and we believe them, right? We believe financial institutions governed by the central bank. We believe that they say the interest rate is this and that, and they do all these things, and we tend to believe them, and we tend to go along, and we believe the news. So we watch the news. That's where we get the bulk of our information, and we believe it, right? Even worse, even when we know, sometimes even when we know that it's not true, yet we tend to believe it because we are habitual creatures and we have a habit of believing the news, right? So we tend to switch over different news channels, and yet we keep on believing it, unfortunately. And social media today, look at what's going on, what's going viral. Videos, half of the viral videos today are all crafted, designed, right? They're premeditated, they're not real, they're not authentic, even though they're very good actors. Everything looks so real, and we believe it. We keep sharing things around, and we believe these things, and we narrate them as stories, we tell it to other people, we share these things, we keep wasting our time. We let these things affect us. We let the government tell us what to do, we let the news tell us what to do, how to decide things, and our life is governed by what we believe. This is what we see today. And what has it caused? It has literally caused chaos, right? We live in a chaotic world. The world is not at peace. right? All these examples clearly indicate us that at every level, the world is not at peace. Earth is not at peace. Somewhere at any given time, there's a bomb going off. At any given time, there are children dying, there are suicides happening, there are children dying out of poverty, there are animals dying, there are forests being raided and destroyed, fires burning. Somewhere, all the time, the earth, this earth, the one planet in this solar system that has life in it, intelligent life, it's not at peace. Why? Because we, the masses, these 7 billion people, or at least a bulk of it, believe in things that are governed or created by people. Right? The news, who is it? It's the people. Right? Somebody goes, reports, whatever. It's people. People tell their version of the story, even when they don't know the entire story. Nobody can ever know the entire story. People believe governments, politicians, people in power, authorities, regulators, all these people. Again, who are these? The news or whatever we believe is created by people themselves. And when we tend to believe what normal people, what other normal people have, systematically in an organized way created, and it may be presented to us in a beautiful way, social media, whatever, news channels, television, whatever, when we tend to believe, and the world stops at something like this. And if this continues, I guarantee to you, my friend, if this continues, the world is only ever going to get worse and worse and worse. And it looks like that's what's going to happen. Looks like there is no stopping this. This is continuing, and it will continue until the end of time. So, from this, what I can summarize or what I can conclude is that when we believe, when we, you and me, when we believe in things that we cannot fully comprehend and that we cannot guarantee it is the truth, we believe in things that cannot be guaranteed as the truth, then the outcome, the result is chaos, right? Mess, problems, issues, wars, blood spilled, people dead, right? Problems between neighbors, harmony is broken, everything's lost, hope is gone. This is what happens when we believe in things that are false. Okay. So, by that, what I'm telling you is the root cause to all of our problems today is believing in falsehood. When we choose to believe in falsehood, the lies, when we choose to believe in lies, see, today, for example, one of the biggest industries in the world is entertainment. Entertainment in the form of football, entertainment in the form of movies, music, gaming. When you put all of these together, this is a huge industry. It's a multi-billion dollar industry. It's a trillion-dollar industry, entertainment in the world. None of that, none of those matches, none of those movies, none of those games, none of those things that we do, the music, none of that is real. Right? And we pour billions and billions and billions of dollars into that when half of Earth's population doesn't even have proper food to eat. This is the world we have created. This is why it's so chaotic, because 10% of the global population choose to live lavish lives, because they've taken what they don't deserve. They've taken what they shouldn't have. They've taken what should have been spread and distributed to the rest of the 80 or 50 or 60% of the global population. When that happens, why are they doing that? Because they believe that they're the boss. They believe that they can do everything. They believe that, everybody's everybody should bow down to them. All kinds of things. So that's the summary. What is the summary? When we believe in falsehood, the world is a chaotic place. So what is the solution to this? How do we solve this problem? What is the solution to chaos? Right? What is the solution to disharmony, disunity? Right? In a word, the solution is peace. Peace is the solution, right? What we want is for the earth to be peaceful. And imagine a peaceful earth. A peaceful earth is an earth where nobody is fighting with anybody else. There are no quarrels between families. Brothers and sisters and siblings are not fighting with each other. Parents are not fighting against each other. Neighbors are not fighting against each other. Communities, villages, and towns and cities are all working together. They are all in harmony. Nobody is dying out of poverty. Everybody is doing their fair share to contribute to the society. They're working hard. Everybody has the right to be well educated and they're getting that education. This is a peaceful earth. There are no wars. There are no blood being spilt. There is no mass poverty, hunger strikes. The governments are working together. The earth is being flourished. There are trees and forests and beauty. Nature is thriving. Animals don't animals have a place to live. They don't seek out and they don't come out of their jungles seeking food and water because they have plenty. They know that the jungle is theirs. They know that they can live a peaceful life there according to their needs, according to the natural phenomena, the natural occurrence. This is a peaceful earth. Right? This is earth I'm talking about, right? Before men started becoming greedy and proud. This is a peaceful earth. Now, how do you attain peace? One word. One word. Peace is attained by Islam because Islam means peace. But I have to prove to you, right? I can't just say this. Okay. If you think about it, how did the British monarch, the kings and the queens and all them, right? Under whose authority, under whose name do you think they waged war and they set out of their island thinking that they could conquer the world? Right? The king sent out his armies, sent out his ships. In whose name do you think? It was in the name of God. God never said it. Right? They did it. They did it under the name of the church. And we know that Jesus, peace be upon him, never wanted to conquer the world. Right? There is no indication in the Bible. Even in its distorted form that exists today, there is no indication that there was a directive for Jesus and his followers to conquer the world. So what do men do? They take a line or they create a line and they say, in the name of God, by the power vested in me of the church, I'm going to conquer the world. I'm going to build an empire in which the sun never sets. Imagine what kind of ego, what kind of pride would cause someone to believe that they could do this. Look at what it has created. The past 100 years, look at the damage it has caused in this world. Right? So, this comes back to what we believe in, because I told you, the root cause is what we believe in. And if you believe in falsehood, if you believe in lies, falsehood, then we are going to be chaotic. We're going to be living in a chaotic world. Then what do you believe in? You have to believe in the truth. Simple. If you believe in false, you will never attain peace. And if you believe in the truth, you will always attain peace. You will be peaceful. And this is what Islam is. Islam simply means believe in the truth. And the truth is very, very simple. But what people lack, and what I feel that I lack and you lack, and that we should get better at, is the distinction, is being able to distinctively organize and understand and separate the truth from a lie. I'll give you an example. If I tell you something like, I believe that tomorrow the sun will rise. Very simple, right? It's a very simple line. I believe that tomorrow the sun will rise. I don't know about the clouds, but I know that the sun will rise tomorrow. The sun rising and setting is one of the most reliable truths. I know because of that if I go to sleep tonight, then I'm going to sleep with the expectation, knowing that the sun is going to rise. I know that I have to wake up and I know that I have to go out there and do my work. Now that is a truth because the sun is so reliable. We know it's up. We know even if it's dark during the day, even if it's cloudy, even if it's raining, what we know is that the sun is up there. It's up there. The moment the clouds clear, we know that there is the sun. We know we can see it. When it's dark, when it's night, we know we cannot see the sun. It's set. It's on the other side. We know that this cycle is, we rely on it so much that we have forgotten today to even think about it. Right? That's the issue here. Right? It is such a great thing that's happening. It is what enables us to do everything in this life from the moment we wake up. It is what powers this planet. Right? It gives power. It is what gives power for the trees, for photosynthesis, for the trees to generate oxygen. Right? The sun. And we choose to forget it as if it's not going on, it's not happening. We are so busy with all the nonsense and all the lies and all the falsehood that we believe that we tend to even ignore the simple truths around us. Okay. I'll tell you another example. I believe that I am getting old. Isn't that a truth? I know that. I know that there is no reversing my age. I know that today, if I'm 50 years old, I know that I can't be 49 years old tomorrow. I know this. I can only be 50 years and another day, 50 years and another month. I know that time only moves forward. This is a reality. And it's a reality that we need to understand very deeply. Because if we understand that we are getting old, if we understand, it's the way we see it, the way Muslims say it is that death is coming to you. Right? There is a way the Prophet very beautifully put it, Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. He said, man, it's like we got onto the sea from the shore, and the shore was our birth, and death is in front of us. And we keep going forward, and we keep getting closer to death. Death is getting closer to us, and birth is going further away from us. Right? So death is coming. This is a reality. This is a truth. How many of us live with that remembrance? How many of us remember on a daily basis this very critical truth that death is coming, that death could come at any moment? Right? Do you think that the best example, that the king of the British Empire, Henry V or whoever it is, the George I or whoever, do you think they remembered this truth that they were going to die when they made this decision to conquer the world? Right? Do you think a man who knows and understands that death is closer to him than anything else, that death is coming to him and it cannot be stopped, a man who understands that, a man who remembers that, do you think a man would be so egotistical to believe that that man could in his lifetime conquer this world? Or in any man's lifetime, in any number of generations, could conquer this entire world? What kind of stupid ego is that? All because they believed a lie. All busy because they believed that they were so powerful. Which is a lie, which is an utter lie. No, we are getting old. Death is coming to us. We can get sick. Illness can strike us anytime. Anytime. There's another truth. Calamity, tribulation, a tornado, a flood, a rain, volcano, anything can happen, an earthquake, anything can happen at any time. We never know. Do you know how unreliable Canada's weather forecast is? You cannot, nobody believes it. Nobody believes it because God chooses to fool the weatherman all the time, even today, all the time. Right? Every day, their weather forecast is wrong. It's completely inaccurate. That's the amount of ability we have to forecast the future. That's another truth. We do not know what the future holds. We do not know. Another truth, a very important truth. What I realized is when man believes in the truth, peace is automatically attained. Simple. And this is what Islam says. The first pillar of the 5 pillars of Islam is faith. Believe. It says believe, but it also very clearly says what to believe in. And as a Muslim, it is our duty. And if you're someone who is inclined toward Islam, it means that you are inclined toward attaining peace. I'll tell you here, now, I'll tell you the 6 articles of faith. What are the 6 articles of faith? Islam very clearly says these are the things you should believe in. And beyond that, there is nothing to believe. You only believe in these things. Number 1, you believe in Allah. We say, La ilaha illallah. Right? You believe in Allah. And that is God, the creator, not creation. You believe that the power to change, the power to influence, the all powerful, the powerful one, the one who has all the power, is only God, not any man, not any animal, not any elephant, not anyone, not you, not your father, not your mother, not anyone, not the King of England. Nobody has power except him. He is the one. Number 1, first article. Second, you believe in his angels, the unseen, that he created the unseen. And today you look at the NASA Hubble telescope and its latest images. You've got a good view of how small we are and how dangerous the world is. The universe is how big it is. The sun that we see so big, we see as so powerful, it's a tiny little dot in this whole universe. There's a lot of complicated things that are going on out there. Lot of complicated things. We believe in the unseen. Right? How many things happen when we can't even see oxygen, right? We can't even see the process of how oxygen is created. To this date, no man has seen. It's everything. It's through science, it's through observation, it's through analysis. That's how we cannot see. There is an unseen thing that is going on, unseen forces. You can't see the wind, for example. You can't see the wind. You can feel it. There is no seeing the wind. But you think that the wind doesn't exist. You think that there is no perception that one could visually see the wind. Of course, but man, you and me, we are so powerless that we can't even see the wind. So we believe in the angels. We believe in the prophets, the messengers, because we understand the way the world works. We believe that Allah, God Himself, chose time and time again to send messengers to His people, to His creation. And that is the beauty of Islam, We believe not in one messenger. We believe in all the messengers. Islam is the religion that confirms what came before it and establishes the truth in its final form. So we believe in Jonah. We believe in Joseph. We believe in Abraham. We believe in Jesus. We believe in Moses. We believe in Adam. We believe in David. We believe in Solomon. We believe in all the messengers. Everyone. And we respect them deeply. We keep them at the same class where the last prophet is maintained. They are all prophets. They are all messengers. They all came with one message. Worship Him and Him alone. Nobody else. Number 3, the third article of faith. What's the fourth? The fourth article of faith is the books. Time and time again, the books were sent. Right? Through messengers and prophets. Some of the messengers and prophets came with books. It could have been a book with 10 lines. It could have been a book with 6,666 lines. You know that the gospel, the gospel was sent through Jesus. What we call the Bible, right? The New Testament. But it's in a completely distorted form. The original Hebrew Bible doesn't exist anymore. We know that the Torah, the 10 Commandments, was sent to Moses, Musa alayhi salam. That doesn't exist. Moses, when he saw his people worshipping the calf, when he went to the Mount Tur and he fasted after defeating Pharaoh, after Allah defeated Pharaoh and saved his people and him. You remember, you know the story, right? Probably. That he went to fast and 40 days he was there and he came back. When he came back, his people, all of them had forgotten Allah and his favor, how he saved, how he, divided the sea, saved them and killed Pharaoh. They forgot Allah and his favor and they were worshipping a golden calf. And Moses was so angry after seeing this that he was so heartbroken that he went and he broke the Torah. Right? It was in stone tablets. That was the book. We know the Zabur was sent, Injil, Zabur, Furqan, final, the Quran, the Holy Quran. What a book. One has to read it. Everyone has to read it. And then, because this is not me saying it is the truth. This is me saying read it and decide for yourself whether it's the truth. So we believe in the books. When you read it, you can decide. Right? It is the book. The name. Do you know the name of the Quran? The name of the Quran is Furqan. Right? That is the technical definition given. Furqan. It is what helps you divide or determine truth from falsehood. This is what Furqan means. And if you're someone with a basic intellect, right? Basic, right? And you're just growing up and you take a copy of the Quran and you read it. And there will be so many verses that are difficult. But among those verses, you will find a few lines that are enough for you to get started. Those lines, you can focus on them and decide, is this the truth? Is this the truth? I'll tell you one line. Man was created impatient. This is one line. It's one line. The Quran. Man was created impatient. You take that line and you think about yourself. You think about your family. You think about your leaders. You think about mankind. You think about everyone you know. And you decide, is it the truth or not? Right? Oh, that is just one line. It's a part of 3 lines. We believe in the messengers and the books. And the last 2 pillars. We believe in the day of judgment. We believe and we are commanded to believe that you come to this world and you do all the things you can do, and you think that there is not going to be punishment. You think that, your accounts are balanced. You think that you can do everything you want to do, all the notorious things, all the bad, all the evil. And you think that, you'll probably die and then you think it's over. You think that there is no accounting. We try so feebly, we try to create the justice system and the legislation, the rules and the laws of the country and the prison system. Why? Because we want people to pay for what they do. If someone commits a crime, we take it upon ourselves to punish them. And do you think that's fair? How many people who have done no wrong are in the prison? And how many people who have done the most vile and evil things in the world are just out there having fun? It's unfair when you look at it that way. So you think what people built, that human beings built, calling this law and order, you think it worked? Think it's perfect? We believe that there is a day coming. Yawmul Qiyamah. We believe that everybody, you and me, most fearfully, I'm afraid. I'm scared. I'm scared to my core. Because I know that whatever I do here in this life, that I have to answer to all of it. I know that nothing, not a single second, of my life and the way I've chosen to live it, I'll get a free pass. I know that I have to answer, I have to justify every second. Thankfully, I know that the one I justify to is the one who is all powerful. Thankfully, I know that he is Al Ghafur. He is the merciful. He is Ar Rahman and he is Ar Rahim. So I have hope. I have hope that he will forgive me. But I am scared. That fear, that the fear comes from believing in the day of judgment. And there is plenty of signs, plenty of hints. For example, a sample, a good example or a hint for the day of judgment is fire. Because the day of judgment is characterized by fire. So you know fire, right? You know fire. Fire that we see all around us. Fire is being used in combustion, in engines, in house, in cookers. Why don't you go? I invite you. Just go, sit in front of a fire and take a deep, good look at fire. The reason fire exists and the reason fire has been granted or man has been granted the power to manipulate fire to this limited extent, because you know you don't play with fire, right? You don't ever play with fire. That is a reality. That is a truth of this world. There is a limit of engagement we do. We don't even take our finger too close to the fire. That is just a sample of what is there in the day of judgment. And if you think that, oh, okay, this fire, I just have to blow it and it's gone. You think that, just take a look at the sun. There you have a fire and you think you can and blow out the sun. The sun is a ball of fire. And you know the condition of Mercury and Sirius, right? Two planets that are closer than us to the sun. You know their condition, right? They're roasted so far. Distance wise, they're so far to the sun. But Mercury is like a just roast a bread. Okay. And that is when you can understand what Mercury is. Mercury is a roasted planet. It's fully toast. There's nothing you can do with it. That's a sample, that's an example, that's a sign to the power of fire. It is generally said that the fire that we deal with is 1/100th of the fire of the day of hell, of Jahannam. And finally, we believe in Qadr. We believe in the day of judgment. And the sixth pillar of Islam, we believe in Qadr. We believe in fate. And this fate is not this, general idea of fate. What we believe is the one who created, the one who created everything, that he wrote before he created it. He wrote everything that was going to happen just because he could. Just because he could. He wrote everything in his book that is with him on his arsh. Everything is written because he is that powerful, because he knew before he did it. He knew this is what is going to happen and he wrote it. We believe in that. It doesn't mean that we don't have free will. I can decide what I can do next week, but it's written. It's on record. Even before I do it, it's on record. But I don't know. So I have to figure it out in my world. I just have to make my decision and see. But the one up there, he knew it, he wrote it, he closed the book, and he finished his writing. He wrote everything. And do you know what he wrote after he finished? After he finished creation, he said, "My mercy." Allah said, "My mercy has preceded my anger." So what we understand with that is that until the day of judgment, until the end of this world, we are living at his mercy. And it's a long time. A lot of people, trillions and trillions of people, have to answer. And it is on the day of judgment that we are going to see his anger. So, how do we solve all our problems? We believe in the truth. I told you, this video was about the root cause to all of our problems. And in this video, I took a few examples and I told you, when we believe in falsehood, right, a good example is paganism. When you believe that a tree or fire, when you worship fire, thinking that fire can solve your problems, when you worship a tree, when you worship statues, and you think that those can solve your problems, you're believing in falsehood. You give a statue to a small kid, and you see what happens to the statue. Right? This is a good example. So when you believe in falsehood, it becomes chaotic. Everywhere, every society where falsehood has thrived, things have gone wrong, things have become chaotic. And then the opposite is that if you believe in truth, you attain peace. Even when, let's say, for example, you're arguing with someone, you're arguing, and you know that you're truthful. You know that in that situation, everything you did was right. And whatever you're saying and whatever you have to say is completely and utterly the truth. Don't you feel peaceful? Do you even feel like you want to argue? If I am in a conversation with someone and it's heated, it's a debate, and I know that I'm right and I know that I'm truthful, I don't even feel like arguing. I just feel like, oh, okay, I'm at peace. I'm just at peace. You can shout, you can scream, you can argue, you can come and hit me. Okay, fine. But my friend, you're wrong. Because I know. So that's what peace is. When someone has truth with them, and you have truth with you, right? You're at peace. You have nothing to worry. That is the solution. That is the solution. And what is that? Islam. As a Muslim, we believe in 6 things, and 6 things only under the main element of faith. We believe in Allah and that He is the only one deserving of worship. We believe in His angels, the unseen. We believe in His messengers. We believe in His books that He sent through His messengers. We believe in the day of judgment where His anger will be expressed. We are currently living in His mercy, and we believe that He wrote everything because He is all knowing. And we live peacefully. We don't believe in anything else. We don't believe in other people. We don't believe in our parents. If they say something from the messenger, sure. But we don't believe that they are all powerful. We don't believe that our parents can solve all our problems. We believe only Allah can. We don't believe the politicians. We don't believe trees. We don't believe the sun. We don't believe that we can worship fire and fire will solve our problems. We don't believe in black magic. We don't believe in news because news never has the complete story. We only take information. We don't believe it. We don't let it govern our emotions, our decisions. As a Muslim, it is our duty to believe only in the truth. And when we have such a beautiful solution, what I feel is it's so unfair that as Muslims, if we don't share this with the world, it is our duty. It is wajib. It is a fard that we do dawah, that we share this peaceful message, the entire world. It was decreed, it was commanded by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. He said, "Go, tell everyone, tell the truth, tell them worship Allah and Allah only." He said that. So as Muslims, if you are a Muslim, as Muslims, if we don't spread this message, and we are not forcing anyone, we are spreading the message as we understand it, and people can believe it, people can analyze it, people can think about it, contemplate, and decide for themselves. And we know that Allah has decided their way forward. So I feel like it is selfish of Muslims if they don't share this message, if we don't try to work hard and understand the message, and if we don't share it, it is selfish. And that is not Islamic. That is not in Islam. Being selfish is not part of Islam. We are not proud people. We don't have any pride. We always say all praise is due to Him, which means that we don't believe in the fact that we are the only ones deserving of it. We try to share it as much as possible, inshallah. And we are at fault, we are sinful, and we keep repenting. So, my friend, the root cause in summation to all problems is believing in falsehood. And the solution to all the problems in your own life, your family problems, your city, town problems, to your country's problems, is believing in the truth. And do you know who the truth is? Haq. Do you know who Al-Haq is? Al-Haq is one of the 99 names that we know of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is the truth. He is the one. He is Al-Ahad and He is Al-Haq. He is the truth. We believe only in the truth. And if you and me, if we can believe in the truth, we will have attained peace. And we will die peacefully. We will live peacefully. We will die peacefully. And we will have attained, inshallah, Jannah. And I pray that all the Muslims in the world, I pray that their calamities, the tribulations are eased by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And I pray that all the Muslims, despite that challenges, that they don't weaken their resolve, because you were promised, we have been promised a reward that is far greater than anything, an eternal reward. We know that the reward is waiting. We just have to strive and we just have to be patient. Let us be patient, and importantly, let us spread this message as much as we can so that people can contemplate, that people can, pick a copy of the Quran and read it and decide for themselves. They've been blessed. We've been blessed. We all have been blessed with the brain, with the capacity to think. So they can decide for themselves. But it is our duty to spread this message as much as possible. And I hope that the world's problems, inshallah, calm down. And I really want to, I don't know if I'll be able to see it in my lifetime. I really, it's a dream I have, that I see Earth, that I know Earth in a time of peace. This Earth, this world where we live in, that it is peaceful. I think Earth would be very happy. This planet, it would be very happy if it could be at peace. But it's been promised as well. The Earth, the Sun, the Moon, they've been promised their own journeys. Their own journeys have been written, so we are good. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much. أقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله سبحان الله والحمد لله ولا إله إلا الله والله أكبر ولا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.